as a staff were talking about, options, and right when the game was over with, our guys were like wanting to get up here, and I thought it was great to be able to get up here, and it's almost like a mini training camp, if you will. It's just us talking and going over the things that are necessary, allowing them to get some good work in and go to the hotel and just have a great camaraderie and unity and all that stuff. And then, there's always that thing that people don't want to talk about, but it's a deal with the altitude, and the more time you can spend here, the better. I'm not quite sure if 2 days allows for you to acclimate, but you never know how it can benefit guys.
I'm curious what you feel like you guys really accomplished today in terms of things you wanted to go over. I mean, I know you're talking about
I think I'm gonna tell you everything.
I mean, like what did you go over today? Like what things did you do today?
We just got in the gym and went over some of our stuff, some of their stuff. We got a quick sweat, and we'll be leaving soon as I finish this media session.
Coach, when you
how's that?
That works for me. You gave me something.
There you go. I'm trying to help you.
I appreciate it.
Coach, you've said in the past you feel like Jamal Murray's an all-star caliber player. Just he's had to work his way back from injury as well. What have you seen that makes him so difficult to guard?
I mean, probably be better served trying to figure out what you haven't seen. I mean, he's shown so much. The athleticism is back. The shooting, catch shot off the dribble, playmaking, moving without the ball. He's just one of those guys that, for whatever reason, there's so many great wings and two guards in the league, he doesn't get the recognition that he probably deserves. We've always respected him as one of the best guards in the league. I know Book does. I know all of our guys look at him that way. So he's one of the main reasons they have the best record in the West. And to see him come back, I'm sure there were a lot of tough days when you're coming back from an injury like that and you have to sit out. And so he's just one of those guys that you spend a lot of time trying to figure out how you're going to guard him and what can you take away, how can you make it tough on him, because he's a great player.
Obviously, with a guy like Jokic, it requires a full team out there to guard a guy like that, but how much does it help your defense stay out of rotations when DA is able to kind of hold his ground one-on-one?
I mean, it's a tough task. He's two-time MVP. Enough said. I hear all these criticisms about his defense and all this. When I watch the film, he's in a great defensive stance in the pocket. He busts his tail to get back to the paint, talks on defense, and sprints in transition. Then you add the offensive side to it. On that side, there's nothing he can't do. It's a rarity. I don't think I've ever seen in my career where a guard will get a rebound and throw it to a 7-footer as an outlet. That's something that is unique to this team. Go on and on and on about how much we respect him and the versatility and the big-time player that he is.
Is there anything you can take from the 4 games, considering they rested their guys the last 2? Booker probably
There's always something, there's always something you learn. If you don't, I think it's a waste of time. So, there's some things that we've learned for sure. I'm not going to share now, but we feel like anytime you play against a team, there's an opportunity to learn, but especially high-level teams. They have one young guy on the floor. Everybody else is seasoned veterans, and so when you're playing against guys like that, you learn a lot about spacing, how they run their offense, things they look for when you shoot the ball. There's a number of keys to this team that make them go, and they've had the same coach here for a while, so it speaks to continuity and Mike being able to put a system in over and over again with the same players.
When you go through a series like that against a team that's just throwing a bunch of different defenses at you, how instructive can that be when you've only had so many games together as a group?
I hope it sped up our growth in a great way, just because in one series, I think we saw just about every defense imaginable. I mean, zones, the switching to small ball, to putting the bigger guy on the smaller guy on the bigger guy. traps. Those kinds of things allow for your team to grow. Go back and look at the film and you see certain things that you can do better. So I think that stuff helps you. It doesn't mean you're going to have success going forward, but it does equip you with more tools to be successful.
How flexible do you kind of have to be when you're trying to establish a bench rotation for the postseason, but also, matchups are different and they might call for a different guy in different moments?
I've said this same term, just having an open mind about what the game shows you, what a rotation may show you. We'll do the historical analytics on their rotations to see what they've done in the past against other teams, against us, what they've done against Kevin, because we haven't had Kevin with this group against them. So that allows for you to maybe make some decisions that might be a little bit different than the last series.
Everybody came out healthy. I know Payne had the back.
Yeah.
Elbow with the shoulder.
Yeah, everybody seems to be okay. It's that time of the year where guys are going to have some soreness, but the 2 days off certainly helped us. Our medical staff is so diligent about getting the guys what they need around the clock, going to their homes, making sure that they're as healthy as they can be.
Do you like being the favorite in the series?
I don't worry about stuff like that. I think that's something for you guys to talk about. I don't think the players think about it. I think when you look at this team in particular, and you look at their record and how they play, you could ask everybody in our gym, nobody would even pay attention to that sentiment. So we just have a great deal of respect for them, and I think that allows for us to have an appropriate fear of a really good team.
Thanks, Coach.